Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be doing a prediction between the current Democratic governor of California, Governor Gavin Newsom, of course on the Democratic side, versus the current Republican frontrunner, most likely frontrunner for the 2028 Republican presidential nomination, J.D. Vance. He is also the current vice president and a former senator from Ohio. So these two candidates are largely regarded as the most likely to win their respective parties' primaries at the moment. A lot could still change. We're quite a while out from the 2028 election. Still got a couple years, but nonetheless, fun to do a little hypothetical prediction. Not necessarily predicting either of these people will win their primaries, just going with a general election prediction. So we're going to start out in Nevada and then move eastward. So in Nevada, this state, I think, will be one of the easier ones for Democrats to flip. This state kind of shocked the nation when it went red in 2024. It ended up going to Trump, which he wasn't even able to do in 2016. In 2016, Nevada went to Clinton, and then Biden, of course, won it in 2020. But then in 2024, with some population and demographic shifts, especially among Hispanic Americans, that was able to result in a victory for the Trump campaign in Nevada. Since then, we've seen those demographics and virtually every demographic sour on the Republican Party and Trump in general. It'll be interesting to see what a candidate other than Trump, though, can do, because he's been head of the Republican Party for over 12 years, for like 12 years straight, and since like 2016, 10 years. Which is crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what a candidate other than Trump on the Republican side can do. Right now, I do think J.D. Vance would have the upper hand in the state of Arizona. I'm going to give that to J.D. Vance. That is going to be 11 electoral college votes. That brings us to 231 to 230. And I think that Governor Gavin Newsom will get another electoral college vote in the district here in Omaha. So that is going to be one more vote for Governor Newsom. And then I'll go down to the other half of the Sun Belt. We'll end with the Rust Belt. So in the Sun Belt, I see Georgia as one of the more likely, probably the third most likely state to flip to the Democrats. This state had some great elections for Democrats in 2025. And Democrats are definitely optimistic that they can win it again in 2028. The state did go to Trump in 2024. However, in 2020, the state also kind of shocked the nation by voting for Biden. They also have two Democratic senators. Both Georgia and North Carolina have interesting Senate elections coming up in the midterms in 2026 this year in November. So those two can give us an indication of which party possibly has the upper hand in each of these states. That can give us an idea of which way things are trending, whether that be towards Democrats or Republicans. Right now, at the moment, things are trending, as they usually do, towards the party that doesn't control the executive, which in this case is the Democrats. So large national trends are certainly helping the Democrats. Ultimately, I don't think it'll be enough to win the state of North Carolina. That even in 2020, Biden wasn't able to win North Carolina. Democrats were optimistic in 2024 that Harris could possibly win in the state of North Carolina. Ultimately, didn't end up happening. The state hasn't gone blue on the presidential level since 2008 when Obama won it, so it would take quite a bit. And right now, if these two people were to be the candidates and the election were to be held today, I just don't see it ending up in the Democratic Party's column. So next up, we'll start with Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, this state I see as one of the, this is probably the second most likely state to flip to the Democrats. The state was very close in 2024, if not the closest. I could be wrong, but definitely close, well, as were all the swing states. But this state, I think that Newsom would probably be able to appeal to fairly well. Newsom, of course, is not from the Midwest, which is a possible detriment to his campaign odds. J.D. Vance, of course, is. He's from Ohio, former senator from Ohio, so I do think that would largely support him in the Rust Belt, but I just don't think, with the general trends favoring the Democratic Party, that Vance's Rust Belt appeal would be enough to win the state of Wisconsin. And then as far as the other two states go in the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania and Michigan, I do think that I do think Pennsylvania is probably Republicans' best shot at winning a Rust Belt state, but generally the Rust Belt votes together, and in this case I'm going to predict that the Rust Belt will vote together. So that is going to be, ultimately, even if, so that'd be 292 to 246. However, even if I call Pennsylvania in the red still would be 273, a victory for Governor Gavin Newsom. So we can say it for this, but ultimately the state of Pennsylvania in this particular setup wouldn't switch the election to the Republican J.D. Vance. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.